Welcome back, y'all. So today I'm going to be doing a more or less 1 year review of my Subaru WRX STI 2020. Today it's January 9th, 2021, or 2022, I'm sorry. We bought this December 23rd of 2020, so it's actually a little bit over a year. Bought it with had 3,400 miles on it, and as of right now it has almost 27,000 miles on it. So put a lot of miles on this car this year. Got about almost 7,000 miles on it since I replaced the short block, so it's running good. Anyway, this is going to be an overview on what I think of should you pick one of these as a daily driver type video. So let's go into it first. Got this car at a screaming deal. It was well below market value at the time, 3,400 miles. We got it for $34.99 actually at the time. That was a pretty good deal. And to give a little rewind in history for us, at the time we had a 2018 Raptor that an old man pulled out in front of me, and I hit him, drove over the front of his car more or less, and did $41,000 in damage to the Raptor. But in Arkansas law, it wasn't enough to total the vehicle, so they just rebuilt it basically from the frame up, including the frame had to be replaced. And the car just really wasn't working, wasn't right after that. We had to take it to the dealership to get fixed countless times after that. Almost the entire back half of the year 2020, it was going to and from the dealership. And at the time, that whole time, we were getting told basically by all the dealers that we would lose probably 10 grand trading it in. Fast forward now, we probably would have made 20 grand off that truck if we'd have waited. But we were planning on buying a property, which we have, and we wanted to downsize our car payments, have a better debt to income ratio, whatnot. So we wanted something cheaper. And the STI, I've always liked WRXs and STIs, and it kind of fit the bill in this case because it was so cheap compared to the Raptor. It literally our payment was less than half when we bought this versus the Raptor. So financially, all in all, I still say we made a good decision, especially with gas prices skyrocketing and having to use premium in the Raptor. It only got about 15 miles to the gallon. With premium, that gets expensive. I went through that with a Lightning I had back in 2005, 2006 time frame, with gas prices similar to what they are now, and you just about can't afford to drive. So while the gas mileage for what a STI is abysmal, it's still better than having a four-wheel drive pickup. So we'll get into that. Cost of ownership, basically. Even if you bought one new, around $40,000 right now, it's still a fairly cheap car in today's market. However, there are extra things that you have to consider. Typically, at best, you're only going to get 20 to 22 miles to the gallon on average if you're driving on the interstate and whatnot and mixed in town. The best I've ever gotten out of this was like 24 miles to the gallon, but that was going like 2-lane roads where I was doing 55, 60, and it managed to squeeze out 24-ish miles to the gallon then, but that's not the norm. This was kind of a step back for me because this is pretty much, up until just recently, this is the slowest vehicle we owned at the time. or right currently. E85 changed all that, but some of the things you got to consider, the gas mileage. So yeah, it could, I already talked about that. Maintenance on these, you got to change the oil pretty much regularly on every 3,000 miles, whereas most cars nowadays are, you know, 7, 8, 9, 10,000 miles between oil changes. So that's extra maintenance that you got to do. You know, there's just little finicky things about these cars because the engines aren't robust at all in them. As obviously I learned because we had to replace a short block. However, there are lots of good things about the car. So, one, has one of the best all-wheel drive systems out there. Pretty much, you know, you can look up on YouTube videos of Subaru WRXs and STIs pulling pickup trucks out of the snow and whatnot, you know, being idiots, but still, you know, they're pretty amazing all-wheel drive. They handle pretty good. I do think a lot of people think these don't handle well, but it's a pretty nimble car. Yes, I know it's very dirty. Weather's been absolutely crappy here for the past few months, and just hadn't made sense to clean it. I will say that I do enjoy the fact that this car is one of the last cars but you can still get that's very analog. I like that. You know, manual transmission. There's no basically phone home on the car where it's snitching on you for things. Analog gauges. It just feels more what I grew up on compared to what all the other cars we, you know, nowadays, you know, are kind of like this like cloud storage mentality where, you know, everything's linked to something. I do like how this is kind of older still. There are benefits to this kind of car, you know. Like I said, it's all-wheel drive that is better than most all-wheel drive systems out there, I believe. You know, you have an adjustable center differential right there. You know, you can adjust, you can lock the center differential, and you can adjust the power bias between the front and rear tires. You got, you know, it's just a all-around handy car. Not very fast. It's kind of a, in my mind, kind of like a jack of all trades, master of none type car. Doesn't do anything exceptionally well. You know, it's not, like I said, it's not very fast. It can be made fast, but even then, it, you know, even how I have it now, which is way quicker than it was from the factory, it's still not very fast, but it's quick enough to get you in trouble and to get you out of trouble in certain situations. It's like I said, it's nimble because the front end is so small, and the way the wheelbase design is, I feel very confident driving this car. You know, if I have to push it hard around corners, tight turns, and whatnot, and the all-wheel drive helps keep it in line. What else? There's really not much else to say. I mean, I'm going to do a video about what I dislike and what I love about the car. But all in all, you know, even having to replace the short block in the car, what did I do? I think we made a good decision. Yeah. Financially, even with replacing the short block and having to do all that, it's still you know, fairly inexpensive car in today's market. Even with the low gas mileage and the high maintenance upkeep, you know, having to change the oil every 3,000 miles, it's still a handy car. It doesn't do anything exceptionally well, but for a daily driver, it has for me, it fits the bill. It has 4 doors, you know, all-wheel drive. It's peppy, I'd call it, you know, fun, handles good. And, you know, I don't, no matter what the weather is, I don't, you know, feel hesitant to take it out, you know, if I need to go somewhere. So anyway, that'll be, you know, quick 1 year owner review over it. Some things I've, you know, noticed about it, what I just enjoy with it. Not really much to say. I'll cover this more in depth in the follow-on videos that I do. I'll do 5 things I hate, 5 things I love about it. But until next time, I'll talk to y'all later.